Hmm? Box is crooked. Okay. Good morning, CSL Delaware. Oh, the microphone. Okay. Mary, you feel better now? Good morning, CSL Delaware and our
Good
friends
morning.
on Facebook. I'm Marcy Knox. The theme for November is Living Everyday Wonder Home. The topic for today is There is No Place Like Home. Our first inspired reading today is from Ernest Holmes. Nothing can be nearer to you than that which is the very essence of your being. Your outward search culminates in the greatest of all possible discoveries, finding God at the center of your own being. Our next reading is from George Moore. A man travels the world over in search of what he needs, and he returns home to find it. And from Joseph Campbell, you are the hero of your own story. Let's affirm together with conviction. I am the hero of my journey. And now I bring to you Reverend Kathleen.
Ah, yes. Well, good morning, everyone. Living everyday wonder home. That is the theme this entire month. Home. Isn't it interesting? The word home has so many different levels to it, doesn't it? There's the home that we go to at the end of the day, or that we spend our time in during the day, whatever it may be. There is um, there is the home of spiritual community, right? The home that we experience when we're with relatives or friends. And then there is the ultimate home, which lies at the center and core of our being, that we can take with us wherever we go, that inner sanctuary. So I have a question. I want to start this off with a question. What do you have in common with Harry Potter, Alice in Wonderland, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, as well as Buddha and Jesus, even Jesus, all the great masters? What do you have in common with all of them? Red shoes. Very creative answer. What did you say? Yes. Yes, Uni got it. Uni got the right answer. You and the rest of humanity are playing out the hero's journey. I'm going to say that again. The answer is you and the rest of humanity are playing out the hero's journey. You know, people have mistakenly thought of myth as something that's commonly believed in but not true, and that is actually one definition of myth. But the definition of myth, according to Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell, is a little bit different. It's an understanding that there is an archetype, which means something common to all of humanity, something in the collective human psyche that something that we all share, and the hero's journey is a great example of that. It's called, therefore, a monomyth. It's like the ultimate myth. And it's something that is within each and every one of us. It's something that we carry with us through this journey of life, this hero's journey. And along the path, there's an illumination of universal principles that apply to each and every one of us. So the stories of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, Mulan, as well as the stories of Jesus and Buddha and Moses contain this great monomyth, the hero's journey. And if you want more information on that, there's actually a lot that's on the internet, and also in Joseph Campbell's book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. So this hero's journey then, it's a template, as you can see, that's used in many, many movies, books, stories that have been told throughout time. And it's not only in Western culture. When Joseph Campbell did his search, he found that this hero's journey is found in cultures all around the world. So that's where he finally realized that it is an archetype. It's something that's in collective consciousness. And what is it? It's a process of psychological and spiritual transformation, ultimately, where we move from innocent child to mature, self-actualized adult. And everyone, therefore, has this potential within them and the capacity to be the hero in their own life journey. So some of us embark on the journey with a deep intention, and others embark upon it by accident. And we can maybe think of some of the stories where it was accidental, like the story of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz when she got hit on the head. But the idea is that it's something that is, it's an urge within each and every one of us to continue to transcend life's challenges. So the journey then ultimately prepares us in consciousness for the gifts and talents that we are to give to humanity. It's a way of, the journey to fulfilling our life's purpose. And there are 3 stages. The first stage is called departure. Departure is when we answer that inner call or that inner urge to grow, to expand, to unfold. And the great spiritual masters have said that is actually the calling of spirit within you. Remember our song, Spirit's Calling You, Come, Come? Yeah, the spirit, it's the spirit within you prompting you in a new direction. And then what happens? Sometimes there is resistance to the path, resistance to grow. And it shows up as procrastination or all of the distractions that we can think of, like being on social media all the time, or watching TV or whatever kind of distractions you can think of. These are all ways that we resist moving forward on the path of adventure, the call to adventure. It can also be about making excuses or being involved in other people's lives, like wanting to fix somebody else instead of attend to our own life. So life then is a series of choices. It's choices between safety and growth, between dependence and either independence or interdependence. It's a choice between regression and progression, between immaturity and maturity. This is all part of the hero's journey. Maslow said, we grow forward when the delights of growth are greater than the anxieties of growth. I'm going to repeat that because that's a powerful one. We grow forward when the delights of growth are greater than the anxieties of growth. So then the hero departs from a place of comfort zone. So, what we can imagine, like thinking about the comforts of home, but which have, an advantage to a certain extent for the hero in the making. And at the same time, the customs, the rules, the false beliefs, and all of that are engendered in that so-called home of our origin is something that we must transcend and grow beyond. in order to fulfill our mission. So from comfort zone to zone unknown. I love that. Comfort zone to zone unknowns. We have to let go of the idea that I'm going to be safe in every single moment. I mean, ultimately we are. We're safe in the presence within. But ultimately it's stepping beyond the comfort zone, beyond our fear, the wall of fear, and into the unknown to take on the adventure and to grow. Because growth, learning, and evolution are involved in that zone unknown. Think about Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker, who leaves home, his planet, to join Obi-Wan Kenobi to save the princess. That's departure. Or Siddhartha left the safety of the palace and all of the riches in order to achieve enlightenment. So in our own lives, it can look like this. You decide that you're going to transform your physical health. You decide that you're going to write a book. You decide that you're going to realize your true nature. I'm trying to bring it back to something that's really practical. But all of these wonderful heroes' myths, heroes' journeys are calling us forward to stepping outside that comfort zone and departing on that new adventure of life, adventure of growth. Stage 2, initiation. Now the hero must face many trials and tribulations and many battles and conflicts. And, our life is like that. When we set out on a journey to start something new, whatever it may be, there will be things, trials and tribulations will come up, challenges will come up. But these are what Barbara Marx Hubbard has called evolutionary drivers. These challenges are opportunities for us to grow to the next level of consciousness. And we know that in order to handle a problem, we can't stay at the same consciousness that created the problem. We must grow in consciousness to arrive at the solution. So every single so-called problem or challenge, therefore, is an opportunity for us to evolve. So the hero may not succeed in every single action, and we know that that's the way it happens with us. However, the point is to keep moving forward, to keep moving and keep moving, no matter what has happened up until now. So the hero presses on. And the hero meets allies, enemies, and also mentors who have supernatural power, which really represent the higher self, but they can also be so-called angels that are on our path to support us in moving forward. So think in terms of Yoda and Gandalf and Obi-Wan, and Glenda, the witch, who the good witch who helped Dorothy. Yes, thank you. and the practitioners, and many of you help each other all the time. But yes, the supernatural aid is always there and available. And it happens throughout the entire initiation stage, and actually even beyond that. So ultimately, though, the hero must learn that the true power that they can draw upon is within them. And think of the great hero stories where there's a crisis, whether it's a dragon that must be slain or whatever it is. There's the ultimate crisis where the hero must draw from deep inside of themselves and transcend something that they didn't think they were able to do, and then comes out victorious. So that is the initiation stage. Trials and tribulations and hardships of the adventure that ultimately transform the hero. So the hero who is left home is transformed, is not the same as when they left. And so now we enter stage 3, the return. So the transformed hero then returns home in order to give the gifts attained along the journey, the gifts realized in the process. And so that's the essence of it. And now what I'd like you to do is look for these particular stages: departure, initiation, and return, as I go through the story of the Wizard of Oz. And so we begin the story with Dorothy being very unhappy with her life. And also, if you remember, everything was in black and white. There was no color. So everything was in black and white, and so the drab surroundings of her, through her eyes, everything looked drab in Kansas. And then suddenly a tornado shows up, and the winds start whirling and spinning and twisting, and debris is flying all over the area. And then suddenly she gets hit in the head, and that's when she is magically transported to Oz in Technicolor. And along with her comes her little dog Toto. And then upon awakening in this new land, she discovers that accidentally her house has killed the Wicked Witch of the East. And the only thing that's sticking out are these ruby slippers. So the Wicked Witch of the West comes and threatens Dorothy for killing her sister, but just in time, Glenda shows up and supports her by removing the slippers, the ruby slippers from the Witch of the East, Wicked Witch of the East, and puts them on Dorothy's feet as a protective shield for her as she goes about her adventure. And then Dorothy makes the statement, "I want to go home. I'd like to go home." And so Glenda says, "Well, I think the Wizard of Oz can help you." And so she's off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And on her way, she meets the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Lion, who accompany her on her travels along the yellow brick road. The Wicked Witch of the West, who is intent on getting those ruby slippers back, continuously menaces Dorothy and all of her allies, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion. And then Dorothy transforms from innocent child to hero when she meets the Wicked Witch of the West and dumps a bucket of water on her, and she melts away. The moment of victory. She takes the witch's broomstick back to the wizard as proof of her valor, expecting that he will get her back to Kansas. And of course, she finds out that he can't do it. He's been pretending he has all these powers that he really doesn't. And so then Glenda shows up again, just as Dorothy is ready to just give up. Glenda shows up and she says, "You have within you the power, and you've had it all the while to take yourself back home." And so she tells her to click her heels 3 times and to say over and over again, "There's no place like home." All right, there's no place like home. Suddenly, Dorothy and Toto are transported back to Kansas. And then she finds herself surrounded by family who've been caring for her the whole time that she's been recovering from the head injury. And she tells them the story of what happened to her, and they all laugh it off. But then it ends with a powerful statement. She says, "Oh, but anyway, Toto, we're home. Home." So, were you able to catch the different parts? Departure, initiation, and return. And also there were other elements too, like the supernatural aid, the allies along the way. I mean, you know, you can find all of the elements that go into the hero's journey in this story. And then here's the piece that I think is really important, is the return to home is not just about being transformed. It's about engaging yourself in a cause that is greater than yourself. So the hero's journey then is not complete until this newly found insight, wisdom, and courage and all of that that's gained along the way is on behalf of a greater cause. So can you see then that the challenges and the obstacles that menace you have a greater purpose? And so when we understand that, and when we understand we have the resources within us to transcend over and over and over again, then we can continue to press on. So what it reminded me of, I think when I first had this real clear discovery that I was on my own hero's journey, is in practitioner training year one, in our coursework, there's a requirement to make a timeline and put all of the major turning points or major events in our lives along that timeline. And then to really look at it, like what happened? How did we change? How did we transcend? You know, what happened along the way? And so it became very clear to me that not only was I on my own hero's journey, but all of us are. And no matter what stage that I'm in, I continue to grow. There's growth available even after the return for each and every one of us. There's growth in giving our gifts. So the hero's journey then is everyone's journey. It's the journey of inner transformation and spiritual maturation through slaying our own inner dragons and demons, and helps us discover that we, like Dorothy, have everything that we need within us. All the wisdom, love, strength, creative power, all in service to the greater good. So I'd like to end with a few questions that I'd like you to consider. And these will be in the newsletter this week, too, on Thursday, if you want to spend a little more time with them journaling. The first one is, again, we're looking at the three phases: departure, initiation, and return. Are you still living from a safety zone or comfort zone instead of departing for the zone unknown in your life, in any aspect of your life, while all the while feeling the push and the pull to be something more? Are you experiencing trials, tribulations, and the fiery flames of initiation? Have you already slain your inner dragon, your ego, your false beliefs, and separation and lack and limitation? Have you returned from your inner journey of transformation to serve your transcendent purpose, showing up as an ally or a mentor for others? So take a moment now and breathe. Stretch, yawn. And when you do that, turn within and ask yourself, what is the key takeaway for me in this message today? What is the key takeaway? And then what I'd like you to do is find one or two other people to share that with. Your key takeaway. Do you need more time? All right, done. Okay, let's breathe. Let's take a breath. Isn't it great to share with another person? And this process that I'm sharing with you is evidence-based in neuroscience. It's a way to help truly take something with you instead of like listen and then forget about it, when you go home. It's really a way to anchor in to the important learning for you on your path, on your own hero's journey. So remember, you are on your own hero's journey, and it is important to answer that call that you hear, that inner call. This is your own spirit essence within you that's calling you home. Your outward journey that supports the inward journey that supports the outward journey. There's this wonderful interplay that takes place. And so I'd like to leave you with this powerful reading by Ernest Holmes. Nothing can be nearer to you than that which is the very essence of your being. Your outward search culminates in the greatest of all possible discoveries, finding God at the center of your own being. And so it is. And namaste, my friends.
Namaste. Thank you, Kathleen. That was awesome.